ElTelCockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. ElTelCockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions leak, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? ElTelCockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. ElTelCockerel. Jose gets himself around, always talking Spurs wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. ElTelCockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. ElTelCockerel. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. ElTelCockerel. The show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. ElTelCockerel. Goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? ElTelCockerel. The show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. ElTelCockerel.
Good afternoon. Oh, easy. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to ElTelCockerel. On this bank holiday Monday, it's May the 26th. We are finally there. End of the season. Week 38 competition results. Boy, am I glad that we have got to today's show. I am absolutely knackered from it all. So I'm so happy. You will see a bit later when I put the results up and that how the stewards had to get involved. And we had to have a recount. And you'll also see that VAR had to get involved as well. We had to get everyone involved on this. And when we did the results for this last week. But all will be revealed. All will be revealed. First of all, I hope that each and every one of you is well. Whether it's your morning, your afternoon, or your evening. I hope you're all well. I hope you're basking in the glory that is 6 days later. 5 days, 6 days later, depending on how you look at it. 5 days, 6 days later. We are still European champions. Don't keep it under your hat. Let everybody in the world know you're still European champions. Yeah, and yesterday it was absolutely, again, but I'm so glad I didn't go on any shows yesterday because to me, and I'm going to talk a bit about Tottenham first before we go into this, for me, said a while ago, that we had to have an inquiry and had to get someone in to look at the whole club and do a lessons learned. And last Wednesday's win in the Europa hasn't changed my mind. I'm not talking about people need to get rid of people or people need to go, and I'm not calling for people's heads and that. I'm just asking for a review of the club to find out what on earth happened this season. I know we're champions of Europe, but 17th in the league, 22 losses. You can't just gloss over it. And, you know, and at the end of the day, like I said, and if people watch me and hear what I say, I've said that it's not one person at the club. I think a lot of people have to be looked at. A lot of different departments need to be looked at. And we need to start next season with a bloody clean slate. So whatever we decide to do, don't rock up and do it without a plan. Make sure you got a plan in place for how we're going to go and do things next season. And it's not down to one person. It is a combined effort. There's a combined effort to get us the victory in Europe, but it's also been a combined effort that made us lose 22 games. And for me, I will say that, it needs to be done. It's interesting because I just heard, I was having a shower, and I could hear it on another channel, someone turning around and saying, but Man United are now speaking to Bayern and Bremo, and they're signing Cunha. Well, as far as I was aware, Cunha was a done deal. And Bremo, there's no talks at the moment. Bremo's being linked with a host of clubs. There's no talks at the moment. But I suppose with Manchester United, in all honesty, the thing that they've done is they've got to come out and said that Amorim's their manager for next season. And if you do that, then you can get on with your business and start your business early. What we failed to do as a club is come out and say what we're doing for next season. Not that you have to, because ElTelCockerel is under contract. So therefore, being under contract, you know, there's no need for him to come out and say anything because he is our manager. But you do wonder, unless some of the work started off in the background. But anyway, we are still European champions, bask in the glory. Right, you've got Neil here, says, hello, Jose. I'm fellow predictors. I am travelling home through London. On my way to Liverpool, then home. So I will miss the chat. Cheers and good luck to all. Neil, thank you very much for that kind message. I hope you travel back safely. I think that you were one of the people last week. Yeah, you were. You're one of the people that didn't do the second part 2 of the predictions. There were 3 of you. Neil didn't do it. Smithy didn't do it. Jim, Chang, Kate, and Nick, but they don't normally do it anyway. And Wayne Bonner was late. Shentan was late. Side Dancer late. Bobby K was late. Nick was late, and Ellie was late. Missed all the part 2, so all the bonus games were missed by all these people. But you still got, everyone still scored points. So Graham is here. Says, afternoon, Jose. I hope you're well. Good afternoon, Graham. I am, sir. I hope you are too, mate. Ryan G says, good afternoon, Jose. And he says he's been trying to work out who won. I think it's exceptionally close between the top 3. Ian Meth says that Liverpool well clear. Boom, boom. Jimmy H is here and says, big up Jose in the chat and good afternoon. Good afternoon, Jimmy. I hope you're well, sir. I put in there earlier, there has been a recount. I also put in there, there has also been a steward's inquiry. And I also put in there that VAR got involved. And Ian says, I was just going to ask if the returning officer has agreed to the recount. He has agreed to the recount, and he's also agreed to the final count after 3 times of asking. Ryan is laughing. People saying hello to each other. Ryan G says, I think I've held on to the final Champions League spot. It all will be revealed. Ryan G says, I think you might have snatched it, Graham. Great. Adrian's here. Look, Adrian's here. Says, good afternoon, Jose Atal. Good afternoon, Adrian, sir. I hope you are well. Carl Simpson. Afternoon, Jose Chat. Did I do enough to hold on to my Champions League space? All will be revealed. Ryan G says, you definitely did, Carl. I was like 18 points behind you. Carl Simpson says, I have, Ryan. I've taken the 4th and the 5th spot. Ryan G says, I'll be surprised if I've been overtaken, Carl. Someone would have to have done amazing this week. Good afternoon to Judah. She says, ElTelCockerel. Big up Jose and the Cockle Crew. Good afternoon, Driller. I hope you are well. Ronnie's in the house. Says big up Jose. Good afternoon to you, Ronnie. Cole says, is this where Jose says he got 40 points to win, lol? No, I didn't say that at all. I'm not going to say that. I didn't get 40. Did well, but I didn't get 40. Looking good in your whites, Jose. Champions of Europe. We know who we are. We certainly are. Daniel's here. Good afternoon. Dan says, big up. Small downs to you, Dan. Small downs to you. I hope you're well. Thank you for your kind messages, mate. Much appreciated. I haven't got around to responding to, but thank you very much. Daniel says to Drula, yeah, Drula, a champion with Tottenham, but not on the predictions league, unfortunately. All will be revealed. Jimmy, when I was talking earlier, yeah, it says 26 losses in the season. It's totally acceptable. He's got to go as soon as possible. Like I said, I'm not picking on one person, Jimmy. I just think the club needs to do a review of what went wrong this season. To have any chance of improving, we need to go hard and fast in the transfer market, Graham. Yes, we do, but we've got Daniel. We got Daniel at the helm. We've got Daniel Levy at the helm. We got Daniel Levy at the helm. We got Daniel Levy. We got Daniel Levy. We got Daniel Levy at the helm. Sounds much better when you've got Paratici at the helm, but there we go. Ryan has had a good week. He's finally got another English club now. He can say, have also lost in the European final to Spurs. All right, fair enough. I'm not sure. Come on, Paratici, get in, says Carl. Look at that, yeah. You must have read my mind, sir. And good afternoon. I think it would be lovely just from everyone if I was nominated to win, says Ed. Before we start, a massive thanks for running this. I am sure, says Ian. Thank you very much. Daniel says, I'm that honest of a person. I told Jose to do a recount, even though points worked in my favour. I would rather lose fairly than get extra points. There was no need to recount, Daniel. What I said to you was correct. What you were told was incorrect. I knew I was correct. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Ed M says, I want my trophy. Ed M says, afternoon, Jose chat. So it comes in, drops some bombs, and then says, afternoon, Jose chat. And then you've got Ian says, massive thanks to Jose for running this. I'm sure, like many, I have made some online friends from lots of clubs through this show. Right. Where do we start? We start with Predict the Football. And in Predict the Football, the winner is, or the winner or the scores are, let's have a look if we can get out. Predict the Football. Winner, Graham. Graham held off Rob. Rob Belcher was held off by Graham.
I'm coming as well.
You scored exactly the same points. You both got 7 points. Well, in I can see you scored. If you put the same predictions in, you both did the same score, just in the league predictions, in our predictions, and therefore that means that there would have been no movement, and you ended up with a 4-point victory, Graham. So well done, Graham. Graham wins the predictions league online. Rob Belcher is runner-up, so well done, Rob. You nearly broke the 300 points there, Rob. Well done. Chris Peters got a third, notable mention. To Ryan, who came fourth. Ed M, notable mention because you're in the chat, came fifth. Kevin Clark, sixth. Ronnie's in the chat, came seventh. Smithy, eighth.
Oh, I'm scared.
So you've got the Wiz is not here. He might be at the parade. He's in 10th. Neil finished 11th. Carl, who's in the chat, finished 12th. Totspur's not here. Dazza. Destiny's not here either, but they're 30 and 40th. Look at that. I made a run for it towards the end. Towards the end, I made a run for it. And I was hovering around where Grant and Scott Colliver were. And probably, no, Grant more so. And I ended up 15th. I'm happy with that. I've ended up 15th. And look, the leader Graham got 24 bonus points in winning it, and so did I, and I came 15th. So proud of my achievements here. Slow starter, slow burner, but then changed my attack. what I ended up doing, I think Graham might have done the same results in both predictions and in Predict the Prem. I used to just do one. So I used to do it really late on and not look at my scores that I put in for predictions, or vice versa. And therefore, I used to end up skew with, and I ended up chasing 2 results per game because I didn't have the same results in each game. So I kept chasing 2 results. And obviously, I'm going to be honest, I would prefer the result from my predictions league to come up than I did for Predict Prem. But next year, I'm going to ensure that I pick the same scores for both going forward. And then like that, I only have to cheer on one result. And that's what I'm going to do next year. That's exactly what I'm going to do next year. So, well done, Graham. You have won that. So, fair play to you, sir. Fair play, yeah. In the chat, you've got Ryan G says, well said, Ian. Big thank you to Jose for the predictions. I just want to say, I always win my second full season. Watch out for me next season, says Ryan G. Congrats to Graham coming in from Daniel. Congratulations to Graham coming in from Ed M. Champion of online, says Graham himself. You'll never sing that. Well done, Graham, coming in. And Donna Cullen's in the house saying, Wagwan, Senora Jose. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, Donna, wherever you are in the world. Ryan G's congratulating Graham. So is Drula. So is Adrian. Ryan G's 4th. He's happy. I bottled the FPO as well, said Ryan G. Honestly thought Rob was going to nick it. Congrats to him as well. Yeah, well done to Rob. And then Bobby K. Good morning, Jose, and everyone in the chat. Did I win? I was only 384 points behind the leader going into the last weekend. You weren't that far behind, Bobby. But good morning to you, sir. It's very early for you. No, it's not. It's nearly 25. It's got to be about 5 to 6 hours behind. So it's either 9:24, 10:24 for you in the morning. But good morning to you anyway. Ed M says 5th, not bad. Bobby, that Dan is one of the ones that dropped. Dan is one of the ones that dropped the dropped out of this league when he was doing quite well. He got pissed off one week and dropped out. 10:24, Dave, half over, says Bobby K. Right, let me stop sharing that. So well done, Graham, again. Fantastic. Well done, you, sir. Well done, you. Jimmy, I haven't given the whole lowdown on what I'm doing next season yet. But it says on that, oh, that's good news, Jose. You're going to carry on next season. God bless you, sir. Much appreciated. I am, but in a different guise next year. I am going to continue. It's going to be a different guise. I'll explain that towards the end of the show. The next game that we play and that we have to give the results, and it's like keeping it within the family, isn't it? Because Graham's boss, I think, has won this. I only checked this about 2 minutes before coming on. I haven't checked it all week. And I checked it a couple of minutes before coming on. I'm sharing it now. Right, the sheriff moved up into 55. I only ever talk about the people that move. So the sheriff moved up into 55th place. And then you've got Julie Severs up into 49th. James went into 48th. So these two people, James and Julie, were always on the second page. Always on the second page. But they're now on the first page because they moved up. Dave Williams, 42nd. Kevin Clark, 34th. Graham, 32nd. The mover this week for you, Graham. Alan moved up into 28th. Hannah into 27th. ElTelCockerel moved into 22nd. But that's my ElTel team. My first team, which is in Lean It We Trust, finished 16th. Ronnie up into 17th. Ed M. Third, Ed. You took over me by 3 points into 15th, Ed M. Well done. Well done, Ed. 15th. Jess, who I think might be at the parade as well. Jess finished 13th. Well done, Jess. David Howe up into 10th. Milton up into 8th. And yeah, at the top, there was no change between the top 7. So all the points the top 7 got didn't change their placings. And Ped is the winner. He won by 40 points in the end. And Nick came second. And Ryan, you had a surge in the last few weeks. You dropped down a bit. You finished third in the end, Ryan. And you broke 2,300 points, which is not bad. There's only 3 of you that broke the 2,300. So well done, you guys. So yeah, you've got it. They've kept it in the family type thing where Graham has won the online Predict the Prem, and Ped has ended up winning the fantasy league. So well done to Ped, and I'm sure that Graham will congratulate him. Yeah, I'm sure that Graham will congratulate him. So could have been higher if I didn't get bored with the team and change it for no reason, says Ellen. 7th Predict the Prem, 17th in the fantasy. I think I finished 7th in predictions. Have you, Ronnie? Have you? All will be revealed, Ronnie. All will be revealed. Graham parades all round. In all the leagues I've done this year, I've been 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Ryan G. Model of consistency, my son. Model of consistency. 3rd, didn't beat Nick. And you've got right. Hold on, where is it? Good afternoon, Colin. This afternoon, Jose. Did you get my scores in the comments? I've got the scores that you left for the Premiership because they're the only ones that you left, Colin, that I got. I didn't get your other ones because you were too late in getting them in. Please tell. Right, there he is. Graham says, Ped will be chuffed. I'm away with him tomorrow. If Graham and his boss win all 3 of these, they will have grounds for another parade, says Daniel. If I lost to Adrian, I'm looking for a new show, says Ian Min. Paul Pablo, good afternoon. Paul says, hi, Jose. Good afternoon, Paul. I hope you're well. Right. I think we've come to that time of the week where I ask you now, before I do this, not there's many of you here, but I ask you, I will explain all the rivalries later. I ask you, how many points do you think you got this week then? Jimmy H thinks he got 2 little ducks 22. It's you, Jimmy? No, Jimmy. No, Jimmy, you didn't get 22. You didn't get 22. Drula says she got 10. Drula says you got 10. Drula, you did get 10 points. Ryan G says he got 18 points. Ryan G. No, Ryan G, you didn't get 18. No, Ryan G didn't get 18 points. I did badly, says Drula. Not enough, nowhere near enough, says Ian Myth. Good afternoon, Jose and all, says Totsmith. Good afternoon, Dads. I hope you're well. Bobby K says, what spot did I finish, Jose? I only missed like half the games. I think I finished 17th, which means I qualify for next season's Jose's Champions League. I'll be honest, I ain't got a clue. It's not enough though, but I enjoyed the banner this year. I put my word out that I was going to win, and I failed. Simple as is what Daniel says. Only 3 of you know the point, or think you know the points you got. Nobody else. Bobby K says 312, and I'm guessing about 200 more than I got. Yeah, anyone else before I start showing people what we did last week? Anyone else got any idea of what they got? Have a look. No, Ryan says 19. And no, you didn't get 18. You didn't get 19. You can't have 6 goes at this, Ryan. You know the score. You know the routine, son. Having 6 goes at this. God, what are you like? What are you like? So the only person who's predicted, who's given me a number that's correct is Drula. The other 2 people that gave me a number have not given me a correct number. But I guess it's like this has actually waned over the last couple of months, where people, yeah, it doesn't seem that they're missing the shows and all sorts. But yeah, we'll come on and we'll have a look. Right, we'll go into it. Right, here we go. Right, go into it. The results last week. Okay, the results haven't been. Oh my God, he hasn't done them. Oh no, they're the week before. Oh, you told me you'd put them on here. These are all from the week before. Yeah, these are all the week before. Right, I'm gonna have to try and send myself an email and get these on here. These are all the week before. Bloody hell. All right. Bear with me a second. Bear with me a second, people. Give me 2 seconds. Right, I've deleted this that I'm showing on screen, and it's now. Right, is this the one? Right, delete that one as well. I can't believe he's done the wrong week. He's put week 37 up instead of week 38. All right, bear with me a second. This is just right, because you lot like to see it all, so bear with me a second. Right, I'm gonna have to email myself, and it's gonna be smaller screen, but you know it is what it is. It's the wrong ones have been put in there. They're last week's again. Bear with me a second. Let me just see if I can send myself an email with the results. I'm gonna have to show it. It might be smaller, but then you'll be able to see it, and at least I know that you lot will get the results today, rather than have to wait, because the recounts were done. I can't delay this anymore. The recounts are all done. Let's forward this to me. Let's see if that comes through.
Hey, favorite one? Yeah, hey, piece.
Bigger. All right, where did you make this bigger? Right, so guys, it's yeah, so I'm gonna share it from my email, which means it's gonna look smaller than usual, and it won't be like bits of the league one after the other. It's gonna be everything in one go. Yeah, Ryan, whatever games you gave, whatever results you gave Daniel were incorrect. The results that I had were correct, not the ones that you'd given Daniel. But regardless to say, I'm going to share. These are the scores. I'm really sorry, people. It's the only way that I can share it. These are the scores on the doors for this week. I'm so sorry because it wasn't sent to me. Right. How does that look? Oh my God, it don't look great, does it? It don't look great. Right. I'm gonna have to tell you what it says. Right. So the first game ended up being Bournemouth 2, Leicester 0. And the Greens who got this correct, you can see there's a sea of orange there. Ian Meth and Gus Parker are the only two that went for an away victory. Everyone else went for a home victory. And the correct scoreline went to Archer, Christopher Inshaw, David Clark, Ryan G, Graham, Big John, Dekaru, Peter Kagayas, Jimmy H, Nick Collison, Grant, and Dan Coyce all got the first game right and all got the 2-0 prediction. So well done to you guys. Game number 2 was Fulham versus Man City. And in this game, the games ended up 0-2, right? And the people that got the correct scoreline were Adrian, Graham, Smithy, and Jimmy H. Everybody else in orange would have scored a point, but they're the 3-pointers that went to people. Game number 3 ended up with Ipswich 1, West Ham 3. The only person to correctly predict the scoreline in this game was, sorry, there's 2 of us, was yours truly and Rob Belcher. Anybody else that got an orange ended up scoring you a point. All those in white predicted the wrong score. Then we moved to Liverpool Palace, which is a 1-1 draw. And in the 1-1 draw, the people that got this correct were Ed M and Kuva, both predicted a 1-1 draw. Kate, Nita, David Clark, and Christopher Inshaw all picked up a point. All picked up a point each. So, yeah. And then we went to Manchester United versus Aston Villa. Yours truly was the only person to get this one correct. 2-0. 2-0. I've got that one correct. And nobody else predicted the home win. Everyone had gone for either a draw or a Villa. And I went the only one that went for a home victory at 2-0. When the keeper got sent off at half time, I was like, fantastic. Great news that the goalkeeper had been sent off. I was absolutely ecstatic. And that was on the stroke of half time. And then I kept looking on Flash Score. No, I didn't. I had it on Flash Score, and I starred every game. So therefore, as goals went in, and that it would come up on my phone. And it took Man United so long to get their first goal. And then when they got their second in the 87th minute, I was like, stop, don't score anymore. But it'll come obvious in a minute why VAR were called in. It will come in a minute, and why VAR were called in. Right. The next game ended up being Newcastle 0, Everton 1, and the correct score, the away victory, the only person that predicted an away victory was Peter Kagayas, and therefore got a point for Peter. Then we moved on to the European game, the decider for the Champions League qualification, and it was Forest 0, Chelsea 1. And the correct scoreline here came in from Ryan G and Jimmy H. They both correctly predicted that score. And then there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other people that predicted an away victory. So well done, you guys. Southampton played Arsenal. It ended up 1-2. And the correct scoreline in this one came in from David Clark, Nita, Kate, and then everybody else in orange you would have got a point each. Tottenham 1, Brighton 4. What a bad result. An awful result. But one person who was in the chat, Bobby K, predicted the 1-4 scoreline. Bobby K predicted 1-4. Cooper got a point for going for an away win. So did Vindaloo, which is no surprise because he supports Arsenal. Big John, no surprise because he supports Leeds. Gus, the doctor, went for an away victory. Ryan, no surprise because he supports Wolves, went for the away victory. And Jess, no surprise there, she supports Leeds and Liverpool. And Christopher Inshaw went for the away victory. So, well done to people who scored points there. And the last of the Premiership games was a 1-1 draw between Wolves and Brentford. And the correct scoreline for this came in from the doctor, Ian Meth, Dekaru, Smithy, and Grant Packham, Brighton supporter. Brighton supporter who tried to give me grief yesterday, but he went for a 1-1 draw in his predictions and tried to give me grief yesterday. So, well done to you guys. First of the bonus games, and we had 12. Ended up being Seattle 1, Dallas 0, and the correct scoreline came in from only one person in this game, and that was Paul G. Everybody else that's in orange, you would have scored a point each for getting a home victory. Then we went to San Diego versus LA Galaxy. Ended up being 2-1. And the correct scorelines for this game came in from Adrian, Ryan G, Dekaru. Dekaru smart. Dekaru only did 12 predictions out of the 24, and he got 3 greens, and that was it. He did 3 greens and nothing else. Vindaloo got the correct score. Stacey, correct score. Ed M got the correct score line. Kuva got the correct score line. And David Shear got the correct score line. Tigaro, correct score line. And who's that one down there? Colin Blackshaw, correct score line. So Colin gave me his results, but by the time he'd given to me, the first of the American games had already kicked off. So they are Colin's scores. Colin got that score as well. Right, the first of the bonus games, and this is where I have to remind myself what the teams are called, because we went to Poland, didn't we? And the first game was Gornik versus somebody, but it was a 1-1 draw. And the correct scoreline came in from Ronnie, The Wiz, Jimmy H, Paul G, Kuva, Alan, all got the correct scoreline. So 6 people scored points in that game, and they all scored points by correctly predicting the correct scoreline. So well done, you guys. Then it was Jagalonia versus Pog something, 1-1 draw. Correct scoreline came in from myself, Nita, Peter Kagayas, Vindaloo, Jimmy H, Stacey, and Dan Coyce all got the correct scoreline. Then we went to Lech Poznan versus Piastici, or whatever they were called, and we ended up with a 1-0 victory. And correct scoreline came in from yours truly, Ian Meth, The Wiz, and everybody else in orange obviously went for a home victory, so you all scored a point. So well done, you guys. The next game ended up being Lee versus Gask. I have to remember these team names, man. Right, where are we? The next game ended up being Lechia Gdansk versus GKS Katowice. And in that score line, Lech versus Katowice. It was 2-3 anyway. Nobody got the correct prediction, and only 3 people. Sorry, no one got the correct prediction, and only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a fair few of you. About 15 of you had the away victory and therefore scored a point. The next game was between Legia Warsaw and Stal Malek, and this ended in a 2-2 draw, and only 3 people predicted a draw. 3 people predicted the draw. And then Puss versus Sla. So the next game would have been Puska and Play Me versus Slash Rawclaw, and this ended up being a 1-1 draw. And the correct scoreline came in from yours truly, Graham, Big John, Ian Meth, and Dan Coys. All correctly predicted that scoreline. Right, I can see that, Dan, I've given you a point too many already for this next game, well, for one of the games. So I've given you a point too many. The next game was... right, who are we going to next? The next game was Radomyal Radom versus Motor Lublin. And this ended up being a 2-1 victory to Radomyal. And the correct predictions came in from Christopher Inshaw, Adrian, Paige, Peter Kagaias, and Vindaloo, and Jimmy Hotspur, and Stacey, David Shear, and Tigaro. So all a 2-1 victory. The next game was between Zag. Is it Zag next? Yeah, Zag. So the next game was between Rako Chestovska versus Videv Loch. And that ended up being 2-1. And the people that correctly predicted this were the ones that I just repeated a minute ago. Sorry, the next game was 1-2. The next game was Zagbieli Lubim versus Cracovia, and that ended up being 1-2. And for them score lines, you had quite a few people. Archer, Ronnie, Christopher Inshaw, David Clark, Paige, Jess, Carl Simpson, Paul G, Tot Spurs, and Dan Coys. Do you know what, guys? This changes absolutely everything. I've put Dan in with 2 wrong results. I thought they were correct. They're wrong. Hold on. This is just madness. 0-1. It was 1-2. So that's an orange for Dan. Orange for Dan. Where was the other one I did wrong? 2-1, 3-0. That's correct. 4-0 is 2-0, 2-1. That's correct. That's correct. Oh, we might need a recount again. Anyway, it's my fault. I've missed that. Right, so studio again. Right. Then we went to Basel versus Luzerne. This ended up being a 4-0 victory. And the victor, Rob Belcher, got the 4-0 scoreline, and so did Cougar 99. Both scored 4-0 and got the 3 points. The next game was Lugano versus Young Boys, ended 1-1, and for the correct predictions came in from Totspur 63 and Edem. Both correctly predicted that 1-1 draw. And the last game was Servette versus Lausanne, which was a 3-3 draw. The only person that predicted a draw of a 1-1 and got a point was Nita. There is a steward's inquiry. Do you know what? It's a bummer because this changes everything. I'm absolutely distraught. It changes absolutely everything. Oh my Lord, this changes everything. Yeah, this change. I'm really sorry. This changes everything. So the league table I've got is incorrect. Everything apart from the top 2 is incorrect. Right, let me have a look then, see what people are putting here for the chat. I haven't even bought the Ghosted says DRD. Durag Diaries raid. Thank you very much, George. I hope you're well, sir. Destiny 5 says Durag Diaries raid. Thank you very much, guys, for joining. Didn't realise that he'd sent people over because I've been busy looking at the screen. You've got good afternoon, Jose in chat. To Archer, you've got Destiny 5 said champions on Ole. Ed M, without me even bringing it up, says he thinks he got 400 points. Ed M, all will be revealed in a second. Unlucky, Adrian. I'll have to think about whether to sack you or give you a chance to redeem yourself. Just look back. Ryan is my guy. I go for second opinions and results because I don't check them at half time. Yeah, checking them now, the points have changed. David Clark says he got 18 points. You did, David Clark. You scored 18 points. So you've got Shemtams here. Says afternoon, Mr. Legendary Bobby K. I'm sure he said hello to me earlier, but I've been looking at something else. That team name sounds like some kind of alien creature. People saying hello to each other. I told you, Jose. Yeah, do you know what? Dan told me as well, and I said, right, have you got the Motor Lublin with the Incret score? Wasn't it 2-1 or was it 2-3? I looked on Flash Score, and Motor Lublin was 2-3. Yeah, it was a 2-3 scoreline. Yeah, Motor Lublin. Right, who was the team's Motor Lublin? I'm sure it was. Yeah, Radmore, or whatever they're called. Radmore Radon versus Motor Lublin was 2-3. So that did end up 2-3. Motor Lublin 1-3-2 says Ryan. Ian, I thought we'd agreed that this was best of 3. I saved my best last points for 23. Right, do you know what, guys? This changes the league table because if I read out the scores again, bloody hell, this changes it. And I'm really sorry because Colin's putting the wrong ones for me and hasn't put week 38. But in saying that, Dan, your points change from 21 to 19 because I've given you 3 points. But it should only have been in the fourth from last game, the 0-1 scoreline. It was a 1-2. So you dropped 2 points because you get an orange rather than a green. So you ended up with 19. That now changes the league table. So I'm really sorry, guys. But it now changes the league table because I'd done the league table with what the scores I thought were there. So I've now changed the league table on my laptop, but it hasn't changed on my screen. But anyway, we'll run with the league. And we're running with the league table, and I can't change it on here live. But the league table on here now looks like, the league table, this is all changed. So, league table, people. 84th place was Totspur 63. So, well done, Totspur 63. He's only been playing for 3 weeks, I think, and he's got 35 points. So, well done, Totspur. Shemtam up into 72nd. Shemtam, who began the season and then left the season for reasons and came back right late to start playing again. So well done, Shemtam, getting into 72nd. Nearly halfway through, seeing that we've got 140 people that played it this year. Wayne Bonner up into 68th. So well done, Wayne Bonner, another person who has jumped in and gone up in the league table. 58th ended up being Kate, from Kate Who Loves Spurs. She ended up with 135 points at 58th. Chang ended up, he's gone up to 46 with 207. And Christopher Inshaw got past the 200-point barrier and climbed because Christopher Inshaw had a really good week this week where Christopher Inshaw scored, I think he scored 20 points, didn't he? Yeah, Christopher Inshaw scored 20 points. But I'd missed a point off Christopher last week. So I didn't give him his flowers last week and I didn't give him his gold last week. So I've decided to give him the gold. I gave him the point, which would have given him 200, but I never gave him his flowers last week. So Christopher Inshaw, 44th and gold, past the 200 barrier. Stacey, this is where it gets interesting. Stacey, that right, Stacey? Yeah, right. Stacey climbed into 39th and Dakaru into 38th. They both ended on the same amount of points, but Dakaru, for the virtue of having more correct predictions, ends up in 38th place. Bobby K climbed up into 36th. So well done, Bobby K. Climbed up to 36th. Alan broke the 300 barrier and climbed into 34th. Neil missed the second half of the predictions and ended 6 points short of the 300. Quez, who we haven't seen for a while, ended up 37th. Archer, with his week, jumped into 32nd place. So well done, Archer. 32nd. Right. Interesting now. The Wiz went up into 27th and Jimmy Hotspur into 26th. Same amount of points, but Jimmy Hotspur predicted more wins, correct with score lines, than Lee Wiz, and therefore Jimmy ends up ahead of the Wiz. Right, Jessie has climbed up into 22nd with her haul this week on 384. But Vindaloo has climbed into 20th with his haul this week. He's ended up on 386. So the rivalry between Dakaru and Stacey was won by Dakaru on goal difference. The rivalry between Jesse and Vindaloo was won by Vindaloo by 2 points. Vindaloo had a really good week this week. Vindaloo scored this week, or he outscored Jess this week. And I know they had a bit of rivalry going on. Vindaloo scored 18 points this week, where Jess scored 14. So Vindaloo, by virtue of scoring 4 more points, ended up 2 points in front of Jess. So Vindaloo's 20th, so into the top 20. Rob Belcher climbed into 19th. And then you've got Edem. Edem broken the 400 barrier and in 16th. David Shear broke the 400 barrier into 15th. Paul G broke the 400 barrier into 14th. David Clark, with his impressive haul this week, has climbed into 12th place. So well done, David. And then the next mover, Adrian, just outside the top 10. Adrian, mate, you finished 11th. Big John finished 10th. Ian 9th. Ronnie 8th. Totspur 7th. And Kuba's virtue of the good week that Kuba had made Kuba climb up into 6th. Ryan G finished 5th. Carl Simpson finished 4th. Graham has finished 3rd. And the roles have been reversed because with Dan and me, with Dan, I gave him 2 points too many. We both end up on 505 points each. So therefore, Graham, Dan, and myself all broke the 500 barrier. But by virtue of having more correct scores than Dan, the title goes to Jose. So Jose gets the title. And the reason why I was saying VAR, guys, right, and I was calling VAR and all that, and I was laughing about it, was if you look at the scores that I had originally put in there, had I not found that I'd made a mistake on Dan's, if you look at the first two that I did, I had Brentford 3, Leicester 0, and Fulham 0, Man City 3. So basically, they were both 2-0 victories. I went the right way, but I was waiting for one more goal. And that's why I kept saying VAR, get involved. Because if VAR gets involved, it could find another goal, so to speak. But all I've got to say is the winner is football. Football's the winner. Football is the winner. And well done to everybody that took part. It's the winner is football. I'm not the winner. The winner is football. Vindaloo's coming in with yes, he's just realised. The winner is football, guys. And it's you guys. You guys are the winners. You're the ones that have been doing this every week, week in, week out, every week. You guys have been doing it. And therefore, at the end of the day, the winner is football. Donna speaking to Rob Belcher, and speaking back to her. Jimmy Hotspur says, save my best for the last 23 points. Happy days. Then you've got Vindaloo says, big up, Jose. Just remember the results for today. Have I beat Jess? I can't see a thing. Yeah, you did. You've beaten her by 2 points. Big up all, says Vindaloo, and he says yes now that he's realised. And he said, somebody text her now. I think that's one for you to get involved in. I'm not gonna get involved in your in-street fighting. Archie says I'm pleased with that, considering I only started halfway through this season. Carl Simpson says, I will take the Champions League spot. Top 4 is a solid season. Ian's thanking me. Dan saying fair play. Congrats to me from Graham. Congrats from Adrian. No, congratulations to all of you. Like, everyone played a part in this. 140 of you played a part in this. So well done to all 140 that played. I deserve it for my hard work, says Jimmy. Graham says, oh, sorry, this is not coming up now. Graham says, thank you for this season. It's been really great and a right laugh. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You lot have turned up and enjoyed it. Congratulations from Edem to me. Ryan, congratulations. Big up to everyone who took part. Been a great year and a laugh doing predictions. Big up Jose in the chat. Mustache, have a great bang holiday. And you too, sir. And you too. Jose Champion, another trophy Spurs. Well, had it been me, Dan, or Graham, we're all Tottenham supporters, and therefore it would have been kept in-house. So someone from Tottenham was going to win it. So, yeah, well done, everyone. Jose, double congrats for all the time and effort you put in to keep us in the side. I didn't realise. I actually thought I'd had everything done. And I was telling Dan was telling me that Ryan had told him that the points were 2 in my favour after the bonus games, going before the Premiership games. And I was saying to Dan, nah, thanks for telling me that, but I've got it right. You're actually ahead of me. But obviously I put that one scoreline prediction incorrect. And do you know what? I even checked it, triple checked it, and I still didn't see it. I still didn't see it at all. It was a blind spot. I hadn't seen it at all that I'd made that error there. So Dan enjoyed the battle. I'm glad you did, Dan. I'm glad you did. The banter has been absolutely off the charts, and you have brought a lot to this, Dan. A lot of banter to this. Congrats, Ronnie. Says Ronnie, thank you. Archie says congratulations, Jose, football and everyone else. Is that back-to-back titles? No, Spurs won it last year. I was runner-up last year. I was leading, not by loads of points, but I was leading, and it was nip and tuck, always nip and tuck between me and Spurs. And in, I think in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks of last year, Spurs just outdid me or outscored me every single week. Every single week. In the last 3 weeks, I was outscored by Spurs. So he ended up winning it. Side Dancer says, thank you, Jose, for your dedication. You are more than welcome, sir. Jimmy Oxford says, I matched Spurs games lost this season, finishing 26th. Right, who else you got? Jose, my heart ruled my head. I went Tottenham to beat Brighton. There's the extra point. Do you know what? It was Spurs he's saying. And Carl says, I'm never predicting Spurs win again. Right, it's amazing because I think, next season we have to look at it and see what we're going to do. But is it going to be Premiership, back to doing Premiership only, or because you guys were all happy and found it really, really good to do the foreign teams as well. So it's a case of what are we doing next year when we do it? Are we doing it as Premiership only, or are we going to do it as bonus games as well? Because everyone seemed to like the bonus games, and we ended up doing more and more bonus games because people wanted more and more points. People that started late wanted to run up the table, so I did it for that. And then also you guys that were battling each other decided you wanted points as well, so we did it that way as well. So in the end, Jimmy Oxford says, just do the Polish league. Just do the Polish league, is what Jimmy H says. So next year, what we'll do is we'll end up doing whatever it is that you guys deem needs to be done, whether it's just a Premiership or whether it's the thing. We'll decide that nearer the time. But for next season, you just have to watch out for the announcements of when we're starting it. But it looks like, and what I may do, because it's a lot of work, and what you get people dipping in and dipping out all the time. So what I'm thinking of doing next year is doing it as a members only thing. So just keeping it to the people that are here week in, week out, and you know, the select community that want to do this and that, and it'll probably be members only next year. But yeah, we've got to go. We run with that. What I didn't see is I didn't see the super chat. Graham, thank you very much for the super chat. Says, cheers, Jose, for all your hard work. It's been great fun. Thank you very much, Graham. You also partook. You've been brilliant in the chat. Brilliant support of the channel, as per always. And yeah, congratulations on your online, mate. You won the online one quite easily in the end. Even though Rob tried his hardest to chase you down. So well done, you. You've been an absolute diamond, Jose. Thank you for all your hard work this season. You're the champ. On to the next. Ooh, I don't know. The doctor's in the house. Hello, Gus. I hope you're well. Says thank you, Jose, for all your season's growth. No worries, Gus. I hope you're well, sir. I hope you're well. Ian Meff says, I'm going to run too. Take care, I think, all. No doubt we will be doing shows as news emergencies. Nay luck, Adrian. Gracias de nuevo, Jose. Fair enough. Archer says, I actually went for a Spurs win for a change in feel good for the trophy. I should have known. It's okay. Tottenham let you off this week, says Daniel. Ryan G says, Carl hammered me for putting 3-1 Brighton. Then Spurs have to ruin it and concede another. Ryan, Spurs always ruin it someday in the league this season. I will be returning next season with the banter and another plan, Daniel. Fantastic to hear. Fantastic to hear. So, guys, that's it. That is where we're at. There's no news on Tottenham today. Otherwise, someone would have said something. I don't think there's any news on Tottenham today. I will be popping on and doing shows as and when things happen as well with Tottenham. This has been a slog. This has been an absolute slog. But I need a bit of a recharge of my batteries to get going again. But we will get going. We will get going. And we will do this again. But thank you very much, everyone, for your support, for watching, for partaking. And yeah, what we will do is I'm going to sign off with come on, you Spurs. And in the big hands I trust, because he got us a trophy. And thank you very much for Graham for supporting today's show with your super chat. Guys, take care of yourselves. Enjoy your bank holiday Monday. Have a great time. And I wish every single one of you all the very best. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. No infighting. Be good to each other. And I'll catch up with you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.
ElTelCockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. ElTelCockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? ElTelCockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. ElTelCockerel. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. ElTelCockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. ElTelCockerel. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. ElTelCockerel. The show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. ElTelCockerel. Goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? ElTelCockerel. The show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at.